So, hi. I did, first of all, let me know if you could hear me. Um, I did a full systems check yesterday. Of course, I always do. Everything was fine. And then, like, literally 10 minutes ago, I started having weird refresh rate issues on my main monitor, which are still happening. I hope that it's not going out on stream. I don't know. Let me know if you see weird screen tearing. But then I started having USB devices just turning on and turning off randomly, which is bad because at least 3 of my camera setups rely on USB. It's a whole thing. Anytime you watch a streamer who has a complicated setup and their stream goes off without any technical hitches, it's a miracle, and you should thank them, because this is so much. I may actually have to go to a 2 PC setup, even though this is a brand new machine, high end. Like, I was having weird encoder overload issues, despite the fact that this is a 3090 and the settings were not that high. Like, it's a whole thing. Hi, I hope you all can hear me out there. I know there aren't many people here yet, but that's okay. I know Amanda's here. Hi, Amanda. How are you doing? And thank you for dropping by. You had a question that I missed that you put in chat earlier. Let me know what that was. I'm afraid to touch anything, so to scroll back to look would might break something. So I don't want to touch anything until the stream is over. So let me know what your question was again, and I'll get to it, because it's scary. Right now, it's a little scary. Hi, how are you? We missed a week last week. I've had things, of course, life. There we go. There's the question. Can you use water as a way to dilute contact cement or make it thinner? No, is the short answer. At least not as far as I'm aware. I never have. Contact cement, I think you can use acetate, but the kind of contact cement that I use, Barge, has actually its own thinner. I'm not even sure what this stuff is, but here we go. This is Barge thinner. So I just make sure I use the stuff that's designed for what I use. Let's see, does this have what's in it? Made especially for Barge, all-purpose cement, used for thinning, soaking brushes, etc. It doesn't say what it is. But it's got a patent, so it's probably not going to say what it is. So no, I would not attempt to use water. You probably need something like acetate or acetone. Acid something. Yeah, no, don't try water. This is the lesson. Oh, excuse me, I'm already getting hoarse. Oh boy, it's a whole thing. It's just been a lot. But it's okay. We have actually a fair amount to get through today, so I think I want to jump into it. What we are doing today is we're carrying on from the last stream, so we'll do a quick review. Last stream we built this. This is actually a different one. I've already used the one we built last stream, but I built a new one. This is an eyebrow rig. Very simple. 2 extra large ping pong balls, bent wire. And I showed how to do that on last stream. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check the VODs, because it's in the VODs. And we're going to put it in this skull. This is, again, identical to the skull we had last time. This is just a new one that I made for this, because I already put together and sold the previous puppet. So what we want to do today, and I have a skin as well. I made a skin. This is going to be a green furry monster. Bit Oscar-like, I think. I think the end product is actually going to end up a little bit more like animal. I want to do rotted arms for this. But what we're going to do today is mount these eyes in this skull and put the skin on. So there's a problem with that. And anyone who's tried to do this method has probably encountered this problem. Is where do you put the holes in the skin so that when you put the skin on the head, they line up in focus. They line up with the holes for the eyes, so you don't get like a big gap where there's like foam showing through or something. And that was something I struggled with for the longest time. I could never figure out a good method. This is why all of my early Eyebrow Mech monsters all have eye bags, including Frankie. Frankie had eye bags before that, but that is part of the design. But thankfully, what the eye bags do is they covered up the big gaps that were underneath, because I just kind of eyeballed it and it didn't line up properly and the holes were a little too big. So how do you deal with that? And that's something I've never seen anybody else talk about. So I have a method that I use. I don't know that this is the correct way, but hopefully this will help somebody, because this was something that I really kind of struggled with and had to figure out myself. So it really is a step-by-step process. It's a bit awkward and wonky, and it's going to be hard to show. I'll do my best. But what it really is an order of operations thing. So let me show you this. Instead of the agenda, this is a checklist for what we're going to do and how we're going to go through this. So we got to do each of these steps in order. Don't worry about memorizing this. You can either screenshot this, or I'll put this list in the description for the VOD, and you can just follow along as we go. But these are the steps that I follow to make eye holes that line up with the eyes on the puppet and don't leave big gaps. At least they don't leave big gaps in the bottom. You might get gaps on the top, but we're going to put fleece eyelids in there anyway, so that will cover that up. This will also, if you're careful, you can take care of the top as well. You can make the whole thing flush. We're not going to worry too much about the top because, like I said, there's going to be an eyelid that goes on there. So that's not much of a concern, but it's on the bottom. I don't want to do eye bags, but I want to make sure the fur goes all the way and doesn't have any gaps. So that's the big thing today that we're doing. Oh boy, it's been a while. I keep missing weeks. I apologize for that. I got stuff. I started a new exercise program. So I was like, and then super busy and all this stuff. So sometimes the streams have to get moved around. But never fear, we will always go back and finish what we're doing, which is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to try changing cameras. Hopefully nothing breaks. See, we go to the top cam. All right, all the cameras are there. Good. This is one of the things that was a problem, is some of the cameras were just going away and coming back randomly, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so looking at our checklist, I don't know if I could do this. Actually, I'm not sure if this might not work. Let's see. All right, that's not too bad. So the very first thing we need to do is glue the skin to the skull. So what you need to do is not glue the eyes in to start with, right? Normally, like what I was doing before, what I saw other builders do is they would glue these eyes into the skull, and then they would try and make holes in the skin that line up, and you know, you can measure it and you can do, but you're never going to get it all that accurate, and you're never going to get it accurate enough. So what I do is instead I make sure we've got the hole here for the eyes, but I don't glue the eyes in. A word about the glue as well. So of course, you know that I talk a lot of nonsense about hot glue. Hot glue does have its uses. They are limited, but this is one of them that it actually does come in real handy. So you could use hot glue for this. If you use contact cement, it just gets a little bit harder to manipulate. Hot glue is actually a bit easier to use for this, but you can use any kind of glue that you're comfortable with. But I'm going to use hot glue for these purposes because A, it's quick, and it's a little bit less fiddly for demonstration purposes. I will often, and it's also if I'm in a hurry, I'll often use hot glue for this kind of thing. So what we're going to do first is we're going to glue the mouth to the skull. Now, this will depend on how your skull is made. Your puppet's skull is made. As you can see, I do my live hands monsters in 2 pieces. The top jaw and the bottom jaw are separate. This gives a nice loose jaw for performing. So I'm going to glue these in 2 pieces, obviously. There's always a little fabric gap. You can see the lines that I put in there. That's a gap between the top and bottom jaw, and that makes a nice loose jaw for performing. But that's the only reason I'm doing that. So I'm just going to glue the top one in for the moment until we get all this sorted out. But that's the very first thing, is to glue the top jaw to the skin. So to do that, you got to get the barge and turn the fan on and don't bump the camera. Whew. Off to a flying start. Looks like we got 3 people on YouTube, 1 person on Facebook, and 2 people on Twitch. Hello to all of you. Oh boy. I was fine. Everything was absolutely fine right up until all the hardware started failing. I guess now 20 minutes ago. I don't even have a clock that I can easily see. I have to look at my watch. Okay, we're 15 minutes in already. Okay, let's get going. So we got the barge. And we got gloves. I try to reuse my gloves as much as is feasible. Getting hot in here. We're supposed to have thunderstorms, so if things suddenly get loud, that's what's happening. And, of course, respirator. So the mic is going to get weird. I'm going to turn on the other mic. Come on, camera. There we go. All right. Hopefully this won't sound too terrible. Let me know if it does. Let me know if you could hear me. I can't see my mic meter right now, and I'm afraid to. 1 2 1 2. Okay, there I am. And now the camera doesn't know what to do. There's no human face there anymore. There we go. All right. So, okay, that's open. Get the gloves on. All right, thank you, Ryan. Good to know. I'm afraid the face cam's going to get weird because it doesn't like it when I wear the respirator. It doesn't recognize it as a human face anymore. This will only be for a minute, though. This won't take long. Safety first, always. All right. Good old barge. All right, and now for the skin. Oh, one note about the skin. Depending on how your puppet's put together, this may be different, but I don't close up the back. Obviously, if you're going to put the skin on and then turn it, you need a gap there, so I don't close up the back. The only reason you can hear me is because I've actually got a mic on the respirator.
We go to every length to try and make this nice. I messed around with putting a mic in the respirator, and that did not sound good, let me tell you. I wanted it to be like a whole Darth Vader thing, but it didn't work out. All right. The barge is on. Now we're going to dry it a bit. Good old hair dryer. For mouths, I never dry it completely. I leave it a bit wet so you can kind of slide it around. All right, now for this, I like to use touch, so I'm going to take my one glove off, but this glue isn't wet, so just don't touch the glue. We gotta get this lined up. Center to center. Thankfully, the way I do live hands monsters, it's just along the edge. There's no lip or anything, so that's pretty easy to line up and get right. Just make sure there's no wrinkles. And we're good. G-Money! Hang on, I'll get to that in a sec. Let me take the respirator off first, and then we can talk. Because I can do that right now. All right. Much better. Turn the mic on the respirator off. So, we're cutting an X where each eye pokes through the skin. Be a good way of ensuring you have coverage of the skin over the holes in the foam. Yes, kind of. What I'm about to show you is probably a little bit more accurate than that. The problem, of course, is where do you put the X's, right? Or the circles, or whatever you're going to do. You got to have a way of knowing where that is. And if you were to just try and measure it, because this is all soft material, this is going to move around and compress and stretch. And so you're never going to get total accuracy. This I have found, and there may be a better way. I'm not saying this is the way. This is the way. But this is the way that I do it. Hi, Travis. How you doing? Nice to see you. So what I do, and so yes, G-Money, you are correct. And this is how I decide where I'm going to put little circles, but you can, oh, everything froze. Everything froze. If I'm still broadcasting, let me know. Oh boy. Okay, I'm back, I think. Oh, what's going on? My hardware is getting weird. I don't like this. This is the new PC. Oh, if I think I'm still broadcasting, let me know if I am. Pretty sure I am. Also, let me know if I froze for a second. I'm not going to go on until I get some confirmation. Video froze, now it's back. Okay, thank you. I'm going to have to sort this out before next stream because this is too much. Everything's, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, hopefully we can continue. So what I do at this point, now remember, we have not glued the eyes in. We've still got the holes here. It's real simple. In fact, let's go to the checklist. So we've glued the skin to the skull. Now we're going to wrap the skin and mark the hole locations. So we just wrap this around as if we were putting it on, because we basically are. Putting it on as close to the final arrangement as you can. Sound kept coming through, video froze. Okay, good to know. Thank you. So there we go. We've got it around. We've got no bottom jaw in there. If your skull has a bottom jaw, then you just work with that. But because we've got the back open here, we can kind of get in there. Hard to see. Yeah, you kind of see it. But like where those holes are now, we can get in there. And we can mark exactly where the holes are. So that's what I'm going to do. Got a marker. And this is going to be real crude, but we'll clean it up in a minute. But we just got to get in there. It's a bit fiddly. Try and make it uncompressed because it's going to all be squashed down, right? Try and make it as if it were already mounted, you know? Try and unsqueeze it. And we're just going to mark really rough where the eyes are going to sit. Now, the whole trick with this is you're going to make holes or X's considerably smaller than the ping pong balls that they're going to sit around. So you're trying to mark a circle that's right in the center there. So I know it's hard to see. You can kind of see it. But see, I've marked 2 circles around the center points where the eyes are going to sit. So now what we do is we unwrap, pull it back out, and you see we've got these very crude circles, but those are exactly where they need to be. So all I do at this point, if you want, you could take a circle template and kind of clean these up, make these a little bit more exact circles. I don't worry about that because this is fur. It'll be fine. I do want to clean those up a little bit though. But remember, you want to make these holes considerably smaller than the ping pong balls. We can always cut away fabric, but it's really not feasible to add fabric at this stage. So now all we're going to do is cut those holes, and we're going to start small, and if we have to make them bigger, then we will. But always start small and then get bigger. And as always, when you're trimming fur, only trim the netting and not the fur. That way you'll leave the nice length. Because of all my hardware issues, we may cut this one short. We'll get through this, obviously. But depending on how long this takes, we may not go till 1. Just because I gotta get this worked out. I don't know what's going on. But it ain't gonna be like this for the next stream, I guarantee you. Don't guarantee that. You don't know. Good stuff, Amanda. Thank you for dropping by again, by the way. Always nice to see the regulars. I know my streaming schedule is so all over the place, it's hard to develop regular viewers. So I appreciate the effort. Okay, so there we go. We got a couple of small holes where we marked them. So these are going to be pretty accurate. So you've got a couple of options at this point. One of them is to take a drink of water. That's what I'm gonna do. So, with this particular build, I'm not worried too much about having a gap at the top because I'm going to put eyelids on this. So, I'm not worried about the accuracy there. So what I can do is that now I can take the eye rig and I can glue just the top and leave the bottoms loose. I've already had some coffee. We'll have some more later. The iced coffee, when I'm doing on stream, the iced coffee doesn't stay cold, and it just gets this weird lukewarm awfulness, and it's not good. And I'll save the coffee as my reward for post stream. So, we can glue on the top, which makes this a little bit easier to do. Because we can glue from the front. What we're going to do eventually is, after we get this skin on, we're never going to glue on the bottom at this point. So when we get the skin on, we're going to turn this around and we are going to stick the nozzle of the glue gun inside and glue the bottom from the inside. So if you wanted to glue the top right now, that would be helpful. If you want to make sure that the skin is flush all the way around the eye, don't do that. You'll glue the entire thing from the inside. So, for example, what you would do, let's just see how this works out. This probably isn't going to be too good, but we'll see. If you wanted the skin to be flush all the way around, we just rewrap it. So right now, and you see what we've got are these holes. Well, that would only work if you're not doing an eyebrow rig, because we need a place to put the bar. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. I never do it this way, so I'm not. I don't have muscle memory for this particular process. So we would stick the eye rig in. Got this upside down, of course. Stick the eye rig in, then wrap it, but don't glue it. And what you want to do is you want to sort of get the wires poking through first. I know this is hard to see on camera. I apologize. This is the thing that I've never seen anybody else, not Mr. NFT guy, not PJ guy, or nobody else has shown this that I have seen. So that's why I wanted to show it to you guys once I figured it out. And if you all have a way that you do this, share. Unless you're keeping big trade secrets. All right, so once it's through, then you can kind of start working it. All right, you can start pushing it. And working it around where those eye sockets are. And sort of tucking it in. Remember, this is fabric, so even though it's not stretchy fabric, it will still stretch. And you can sort of mold it around the eye. And then what we would do is turn this around and then get the hot glue and go in from the back and glue it in the back. Now, because this is a little fiddly to do this way, I am going to glue the top. So, and sometimes it'll be fine on the top. It really all depends on your design, what the design requires, but we are going to glue the top before we do that. So, oh, my back hurts. I'm an old man. It's also really hot in here. Now that we're done with the barge, I'm going to close the window so the air conditioning can do its thing. All right, so here we go. I know I'm up in front of the camera. I'm sorry. We're going to get the hot glue, which I should have untangled from the rest of this mess.
before the stream, but of course I was a bit busy with all of the hardware failures going. Okay, here we go. We got it going on. We are going to glue the bottom jaw in, just that doesn't need to happen yet. One complication at a time. So what I usually do for this, start with a little, don't start with a lot. And I'll just get it going in the skull there. Come on, grab it. There we go. Just put a little dab on each side. We don't need a lot. Sure this is the right way around. Yes. And then carefully lay this in. And then get comfy, because you just got to sit here and hold this until the glue sets up. I usually compress the foam a little bit so it actually melts the foam a little bit. But so now we're here holding glue. Hi, this is fun. If you use contact cement, of course, you don't have to do this. What we did. Oh boy. This is the exciting glue setting portion of today's stream. Brought to you by Gorilla brand hot glue. It's not. Don't. Unless, Gorilla, you want to send me some free hot glue, you go right ahead. I wouldn't stop you. All right, that's probably enough that I can let go of it and have some more water. Because my throat's really bad today. I don't know what's going on. You know what's going on is I haven't streamed longer than usual, so I'm not used to talking for this length of time. But now we can start to sort of see, it's going to look pretty good. This isn't set up yet, so I wouldn't want to put any stresses on this. You don't want to wait for this glue to really get hard and hold it really well. Well, you'll notice I tried very hard and didn't quite succeed. There's a little bit of glue on there. I know that the camera's blowing that out so you can't see it. I hope my throat isn't dying. That would be bad for future live streams. Oh, here's one thing I could actually demonstrate at this point. When you bend this wire, remember how we tried to make sure we got it straight. If you don't get it perfectly straight, this is what happens. See how the eyes are pushing apart and then pulling together as you move the eyebrow? This isn't enough to matter, but that's the straighter you can get the T-bar, as it were, across the axle, the less this will happen. This won't be enough to notice. This is still fine, but that's the consequence of not getting it perfectly straight. Let's see, where's that glue at? I think we can proceed. Let us proceed. So, I want to glue my pin cushion to the work surface. So again, we're going to feed the wires through the eye holes first. Turn it. And you can sort of see already, it's already kind of getting there. So all we want to do is just start working that fabric down around the eye. Particularly on the sides and the bottom. On the sides and the bottom, you actually going to tuck it under. Tuck it between the foam
in the ping pong ball. But you see, even though those holes were very small, you know, because you got to remember, they're going to go around the ping pong ball and then they're going to go around the smaller part of the ping pong ball, right? The ping pong ball has a radius. So you just want to keep working it till you're happy. It's a lesson in life. Work it until you're happy. Yeah, we're getting there. All right, so you can see this isn't too bad. This is a relatively consistent, like I've every time I've done this, it's worked. I've never had it just completely mess up. So this is a consistently reliable way of doing this. There we go. Really, that's just kind of it. So we wouldn't need to put eye bags on this creature. But what we should do is get some glue in there just to sort of anchor everything down, right? Now, to be perfectly honest, you don't really need to put more glue on there. You can leave it the way it is. How do you stitch the neck on after the head is already turned? Good question. So we've got this big gap in the back, right? And that's open. So what I usually do is the back of the puppet or of the body is open as well. I know stitching from the outside of a puppet is not very strong. So it depends. It depends on how you do it. For fleece, that's really tough because you would need to ladder stitch it. And ladder stitches, as you correctly say, are not as strong as a whip stitch. Now, there's a bit of a myth about ladder stitches not being strong. They're usually strong enough. If you were putting the kind of stresses on a puppet that would break a ladder stitch, you've got bigger problems than just the ladder stitch not holding. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Is what it comes down to. You're going to break something else in the puppet, even if the stitch holds. So ladder stitches are usually fine. What I usually do is, at this point, I've got the back of the puppet open as well. So I'll stitch this line and the body together on a whip stitch from the inside. And then what I'll do, I'm not going to do it right now because I can't. I have to put the bottom jaw in here first. But I'll take this, and because this is fur, you can do this. You can kind of, it's very, very fiddly. It's almost like surgery. I'll get a curved needle. So these are very handy for this kind of thing. This is a curved upholstery needle. And I'll get the thread in, and I'll just go real slow. I'll make sure the fur is out of the way. In one side, out the other. It's a whip stitch. And just keep going around and around and around. And then just pull it closed every stitch. It's very slow. It's very fiddly. You're gonna get fur down in it. The thread is gonna grab fur from everywhere. You just have to be very patient and go very slow. And you just do that down the entire back. Once you get down to past the neck, you can usually then turn it inside out and then whip stitch from the inside, which is a lot easier. But you can whip stitch from the outside as long as it's fur. You could even whip stitch fleece from the outside. You just see the seam, right? So, but with this, it's fine because once you get the fur out of the way, and you can just whip stitch the netting together, and then once that fur comes back, you won't see that seam. So, that's how I do it. There may be a better way. I don't know it if there is. But there we go. There is it, basically. So what I'm going to do now, well, let me see. One thing I usually do is at this stage, I decide Do I need to trim some of the foam off of the back of the skull? I usually do. I leave more than I need just to see what the shape of the skull is going to be, and do I want more, do I want less? I usually will trim some, at least from the inside, so the hand goes in a little bit easier. I won't do that right now, but what I will do, now that we've got the fur and the eyes in place, is I will get in there and put some hot glue on the bottom of the eyes. So this is it. Just got to go in from the inside. It's surgery. You're doing puppet surgery. And it can get a bit messy. Try not to get glue anywhere you don't want glue. So like on the grips or on the mech, just do little dabs. And then once through there, you let gravity. I'm going to sit this up like this, and you just let gravity do its thing. And that glue will set up, and those eyes will be solid. So there we go. There's the big reveal, the big secret. Where are we at? It's not even an hour yet. I would hate to cut the stream short right now. That's a super short stream. After 3 weeks of waiting. The hardware hasn't done anything weird since that big pause. Maybe we'll keep going. But that's kind of it for aligning the eye holes. That's how I do it. Thank you, Canberra, for almost behaving. So yeah. So the next thing is, after this glue sets up, I'm going to put the bottom jaw in. And that's all I can do for this puppet right now, because oh, you know what, it's not. I've got some hand inserts I started working on. I didn't really have anything planned for the rest of the stream, so I could just keep working on this puppet. Now we can chat. You know, it depends on what y'all are into. It's slow. It's a slow day. Things are slow in general right now. There was so the store, for example, was slow for a while. Then it picked up suddenly and made a bunch of sales, and now it's dead again. And I think it's the economy. It's the way things are going. No one's buying anything right now for obvious reasons. But that's okay. We can weather the storm. I'm telling you, I think what I'm gonna have to do is go to a multi-PC setup to do, let's go to the chat cam, to do all of the cameras. Because the problem is, I think one of the major problems is my USB bus is still getting oversaturated, and that's only going to get worse. As I understand it, USB lanes are actually getting more restrictive, not better. Because every device is like 6 devices now. You know, you plug one USB thing in, and it's actually showing up as like a whole bunch because of all the different virtual devices and stuff that it has to process. So I don't know. We may have to go to multi-PC. Despite the fact that we're not streaming a game or anything, it is just this, but just to handle all the bandwidth that the cameras need. Which is still fine. That is an option. I have actually a spare PC that I could do that with, but it's a pain. This is a little tiny room. Putting more PCs in here would be hot. It would just be hot, really. But that's okay. What else are you gonna do? I gotta sort out this pausing thing. I don't know what that was. That happened last stream as well, but it wasn't until the end of the stream. I think that might be like a record buffer or something. And the SATA bus is spinning up, something like that. It's not a mechanical drive, it's an SSD that's recording to. If I don't record locally, maybe we'll see. We'll test that for next stream. Maybe I just won't record locally and hope that the VODs go through. I don't know, tech. What are you gonna do? Let's see where we're at with the hot glue here. Give it the old poke test. Nope, not done yet. Still a bit gloppy. How's your beginning of summer going, everyone? I know we're still in this weird.
it isn't the pandemic anymore, but it is, and also getting worse, and also monkeypox, and who knows what is happening in the war, and it's just, oh, it's everything. Thank goodness we have puppets. That's what I say. It's keeping me sane. I don't know about you. It's boring. I'll bet you it's boring. Especially at your age. I can imagine how boring it is. Yikes. I mean, I said this, I think, to Richard Gomez on Twitter. It's like, because Richard's 18 as well. And I'm like, you know, it was hard enough being that age. I can remember when I was that age, despite the fact that it was decades ago. But like what you people, you young folks have to deal with these days, just with to navigate social media and the pandemic, and it just, I can't even imagine how hard it is for you folks. Like I'm not the kind of old man who like, the young people today. No, you young people have it hard, and I get it. Like, you know, good on you for doing what you're doing, you know. I'm trying to make the best of it by making puppets. Exactly. See, that's the thing, right? It's therapeutic. And this is one of the things that people, you know, who aren't puppet people don't get, is how affirming and therapeutic it is. It is stressful. Yeah, I can imagine, you know, just hang in there. That's it, right? And at least you've got something like this to go to as a you know, an outlet, right? You know, and this is the thing. It is very stress relieving isn't quite right, because it is intense. It can be very intense, particularly when you're learning, but it's very fulfilling, right? When you finally get something, boy, is that a great feeling. And you will get there. That's the thing. Even if you don't feel like you're there yet, keep at it, right? There's always a curve to these things, right? There's always like an enthusiasm when you start, and then when you find out that things are harder than you anticipated, there's a bit of a disappointment, and you feel like you quite can't do it, and maybe I'm not good enough and all this stuff. But you just gotta, it's all practice. It is all practice, and you gotta do the bad stuff before you can get to the good stuff, right? But you'll get there, and good on you. Like I said, this is not easy, and it's particularly not easy for people of your age. So now that we've done our therapy, what are you doing, Kevin? Stop talking. Okay. We're going to go back here. Here we go. So those eyes are now quite solidly anchored in there. Those are good. So to put the bottom jaw in, unfortunately, I'm going to have to kind of unwrap it again. And unfortunately, we got to get the barge out to do this. But see, I've sort of partially unwrapped it. I've got it just so I can expose the bottom jaw. We're just going to glue that in. Very simple. I got to open the window again. I got to get the whole rigmarole going here. Let me get the hot glue out of the way. Don't think we need a glue gun getting in the way. I accidentally clicked the mouse and got frightened. All right, window open again. Fan on again. Before I do this, I gotta do my patented nose blowing, because Sniffles Blades here is at it again. One sec. I talked to my doctor one day, and I told him about my nose sniffling issues. And he agrees that it's probably medication, but I'm taking like 4 different medications right now, all of which have runny or stuffy nose as a possible side effect. So we have no idea which it is. To figure that out is going to be a lot. So I might just have to live with this sniffles, which is not fun, let me tell you. This is why getting old sucks. Don't let anybody tell you different. However, you know, you're lucky if you get to be old, right? I just don't always feel all that lucky. Now turn the mic on.
All right. What we at time-wise? Okay, we're almost at an hour. I think we'll do this and then we'll call it. You're absolutely right, Amanda. Getting old is a gift. All right, or barge. I'm doing this off camera. Ah. Kevin's out of practice. When I do mouth plates, when I glue mouth plates, I usually, not only do I not dry the glue quite as much, I also put a little bit more on than I normally would. Just because it makes it a bit easier to move it around if you need to adjust it. All right, here we go. And so I can feel what I'm doing. Line that up. We go slow and gentle. In case we need to adjust it. That looks pretty good. All right. There we go. Bottom jaw is on. Let's close all this up.
What I want is like a cool Star Wars respirator. I guess. I'm gonna have to have the straps and just attached to my face with magnets or something. All right, and now we're gonna turn this for real for the final turn.
So I think I am going to trim away some of the foam on the back of the head here before I close. But we can see in a very kind of rudimentary way where we are. This is already looking okay. All right. Yeah, we can even do a bit of this. Let's get our grips in place here. Here we are. Hello. There we got the eyebrows working. Not bad. All right, that's good. See? Nothing to it. Well, that's not true. There's quite a lot to it, actually, but it is within everybody's grasp to do this. Yeah, that's pretty good range of motion on the eyebrows there. It's open nice and wide and close quite well. Yeah, that's good. We like it. He's going to be a good monster. So I think this one I'm actually going to do rod arms. I was originally going to do another live hands, but I like the rod arms, kind of an animal style. You know, I think this guy might have a nose too. We'll see. We'll figure it out. So that's really going to do it. And again, because of the technical issues, I think it would be best to not tempt fate and end it all. End the stream here. Yeah, we've gone for an hour. I think we're good. So I apologize for the short stream, but again, I got to work this out. I got some flex time coming up. I'm going to work on this, and hopefully by the time we come to the next stream, whenever that's going to be, hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll have all this worked out. So in terms of what's next, I'm not sure. You let me know if there's something you want to see. We are going to try and focus on building a live hands monster like this, but if there's something specific that y'all want to see or have questions about, please let me know. I haven't solicited new viewer questions yet, so I don't even have any of those to go to. From this point on, it's really just a matter of putting the pattern together and sewing it all up. There's nothing revolutionary, although closing up the back, I think Amanda's right, closing up the back is actually tricky and not something that is terribly intuitive. So maybe we'll do that next stream. At least I'll demonstrate some of that next stream. That's not a bad idea, actually. Can you do puppet feet? Yeah, we can do feet for sure. In fact, maybe not for next stream. I was thinking maybe we'll do feet for this one, but this I want to get this done next week, so it wouldn't be, the timing wouldn't line up there. But yeah, we can absolutely do feet. Maybe I'll do another one of these for the next stream in fur. Yeah. You know what? I haven't done fur feet yet. That's also hard to say. But that's not a bad. Maybe that would be a fun thing for to just learn with me, because doing hands and feet in fur is quite a bit different than doing it in fleece. And fleece is fairly easy because you can just do it on the machine, but on fur you have to hand sew it, right? You can't just trace a shape on the machine, because then you're going to be cutting fur. No one wants that. So let me give that some thought. That's not a bad idea. Maybe I can work up something that we can learn together, and that'll be fun. This is looking pretty good, actually. This is gonna be a good monster. You know what? So we've got a bunch of stuff we can do. We can do like Amanda says, we can do feet. We can do fur trimming. That's something that I haven't really I've done it on stream, but I haven't really done a full kind of talk and demo on it. So we can absolutely do the trimming, and the closing up the back. So we got a bunch of places we can go. It's all good. So I'll give that some thought. We'll see about getting all the wrinkles ironed out for the next stream, hopefully. So thank you all for showing up. Rory, you're just in time to say goodbye. But thank you anyway. Hopefully you'll go back and watch the VOD, because we covered there's fur flying everywhere. This is why I use a covered container for my drink at the studio. We covered some fairly involved stuff today, so hopefully you'll get a chance to watch that. So the next stream, let's look at I can't even bring up a calendar. Well, if today is the 1st, then it'll be what, the 12th? 15th. I don't know how time works. 2 weeks. The 15th. I'm a young puppeteer from Scotland. I've recently got my first workshop to find your streams nice and useful. Listening in the background. Excellent. So, well, one of the impetuses, one of the reasons I started doing this was Rainier McFarlane, who is also in Scotland, had a bunch of questions, and it sort of inspired me to do these Q&A streams. So, my workshop is in my room, lol. Well, that's basically what I've got here. This is just a spare room, but it's tiny as well. This is literally a 7-foot by 10-foot room that just happens to be too small to do anything else with in our apartment. Again, I'm very lucky to have this because I live in the middle of a city and space premium. So it's just, I'm lucky to have this. It's still very, very small though. So this is basically, I'm in the same situation as this is basically my room. Because all my video game consoles are in here. All right. So, but yeah, that's the whole thing. You can do this, with a minimal setup. That's the other thing, right? You may have to make some adjustments in terms of materials and, what kind of adhesives you use and stuff like that. But small room, small desk, life is good. Oh, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, look at, this is probably a better camera to look at it at. Most of my work surface, this is just a sort of heavy duty card table that I'm working on. This isn't a workbench or anything. And most of the work gets done on this. This is a standing desk conversion. This thing is, I don't know, like 3 feet by 2.5 feet. That's what I do my work on. These cutting mats, that's all you need. You don't need a ton of space. I have most of this room is taken up either with streaming equipment or with like storage space for the materials that I need because I buy them in bulk for the shop, right? But in terms of actual building space, you don't need a lot. You can do with the kitchen table kind of. So, whatever you got to be creative and you'll work it out. Now people are showing up, I'm about to end, and now there's more viewers than there was before. Oh, well. Anyway, hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm cutting this stream short by an hour because I'm having technical issues, and I don't want anything to blow up. Nothing's going to blow up, but things may just, stop. So we've done the work. We did the important thing. Thank you, Amanda. So the next stream will be the 15th. Hopefully stay tuned to my social media just in case that changes. You never know. And hopefully I'll have all the bugs worked out by the next time. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm gonna end now, and then I don't know. I'm gonna tear my computer apart and see if I can figure out what's going on. So thank you very much. Everyone's showing up now. Of course, everyone's showing up. Hello, Atomic Soup. Nice to see you. We're just signing off for the live stream. Go back and watch the VOD. We did a lot today. We did a lot in a little time. So go back as soon as this is over. You can go back and watch the VOD. Oh, of course. Hello, Scarlett. How you doing? Everyone just shows up now. I don't know. I don't feel like kicking y'all off right now because it's so nice. How you doing, everyone? So yes, what we did today, let's review, class. What we did today was I demonstrated how to put the skin on a furry monster with an eyebrow mech and align the eye holes, which is was a mystery to me until I figured out this method. So go back and watch the VOD and you will see the secrets revealed. And join me again on probably the 15th, when we will continue making probably a different one, because I'm going to finish this guy this week, but more furry Blink Mech monsters are on the horizon. I'm gonna go before I've already tempted fate. Also, I'm getting hoarse. Everything will be fixed in 2 weeks. Sure will. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And hopefully we'll see you on the 15th.